You're listening to Neurodivergent Mom Life, unfiltered and unstoppable, where we embrace the chaos, celebrate neurodiversity, and empower moms like you to thrive in motherhood. Parenting can be downright chaotic, especially when you're a neurodivergent mom. But don't worry, we've got some hacks to help tame that chaos and create a more manageable daily routine. In this episode, I'll share some practical tips and strategies that have worked for me and might just make your life a little bit easier too. Ready to take control? Let's get started. So, in this episode, we are going to go into taming the chaos or parenting hacks for the neurodivergent mind. So, hands up, virtually, of course, if you're driving. If you've ever frantically searched for your child's missing shoe while simultaneously trying to pack a lunch, only to realize that you're still in your pajamas and the school bus is honking outside. Or maybe you felt a wave of panic wash over you as your kid's playdate erupted into a chaotic symphony of screams and laughter. If you're nodding along with a knowing sigh, then you, my friend, are a neurodivergent parent navigating a neurotypical world. And let's be real. Those picture-perfect parenting hacks that promise to transform your life into a well-organized oasis are about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Sure, color-coding your sock drawer sounds great in theory, and it might even be fun. But who has the time or the executive function to actually pull that off and maintain it? And as for meal prepping a week's worth of lunches, please, we're still trying to remember where we put our car keys. But fear fellow time-traveling, multitasking, brilliant weirdos. We're here to dish the Pinterest perfection and embrace the messy, chaotic, and wonderfully unique reality of neurodivergent parenting. Of course, this world isn't one size fits all. I do enjoy a good meal prepping and planning session when I can get to it, but I'm not about to force myself to do it all the time. So let's talk about some practical strategies, ingenious hacks, and out-of-the-box solutions that work with our brains and not against them. So buckle up, grab your favorite fidget toy, and get ready to discover a whole new world of parenting possibilities. We're about to unlock the secrets to neurodivergent-friendly hacks that will revolutionize your daily life, one sticky note at a time. So let's be real. First off, neurodivergent parenting isn't always a walk in the park or a stroll through the Shire for you Tolkien fans. Sometimes it feels more like battling a Balrog while simultaneously trying to wrangle a herd of hyperactive hobbits. But here's a quick glimpse into how our neurodivergent superpowers can sometimes morph into parenting kryptonite. That attention deficit. That laser focus? Yeah. It can also disappear faster than a golden snitch during a Quidditch match. This can lead to missed appointments, forgotten permission slips, and a never-ending game of, where are my keys? Executive dysfunction. Ever started a load of laundry and then completely forgotten about it until 3 days later? That's executive dysfunction in a nutshell. It can make hard to initiate tasks, stay organized, and follow through on plans. Talk about some sensory processing issues. A simple trip to the grocery store can feel like a scene out of Apocalypse Now. Bright lights, loud noises, and a cacophony of smells assaulting our senses. This can lead to meltdowns, both for us and our kids. And that emotional intensity? While our big feelings allow us to connect deeply with our children, they can also lead to emotional overwhelm, anxiety, and oftentimes burnout. And let's not forget about rejection-sensitive dysphoria. A critical comment from a teacher or a perceived slight from a friend can send us spiraling into a pit of self-doubt and despair. And my friends, if you were listening to this episode and you hear that noise in the background, it is currently thunderstorming where I live. So the first step to conquering these challenges is self-awareness. It's like Gandalf the Grey studying ancient scrolls to understand the enemy, aka our own brains. What are your triggers? What are your limitations? And when are you most likely to lose your cool or your car keys? Once you know your kryptonite, you can start to develop strategies to manage it. For example, if grocery shopping with a hungry kid is a recipe for disaster, order online or go at off-peak hours. If you struggle with executive dysfunction, like so many of us do, break down those tasks into smaller chunks and use timers to stay on track. If sensory overload is a common occurrence, create a calming sensory kit filled with fidget toys, weighted blankets, and noise-canceling headphones. Remember, self-compassion is key. We're not perfect, and that's okay. The goal isn't to eliminate our challenges, but to learn how to manage them in a way that works for us and our families. So forget the Pinterest perfect ideals and let's get real. Here are some tried and true hacks that have saved my bacon and my sanity on more than one occasion. Hacking forgetfulness. Reminder apps galore. Embrace the tech. Set alarms, reminders, and notifications for everything from school pickups to medication schedules. And yes, both of those things are on my phone. My daughter's school pickup because I work at home, and my medication because if I don't take that, I am. My personal favorite, again, is setting those reminders. And again, that can be for everything and anything. Let's talk about visual to-do lists. Ditch the boring notepads and create colorful, visually appealing to-do lists. Use sticky notes, whiteboards, or even a giant wall calendar to keep track of tasks and appointments. But, my friend, if those notepads and writing lists work for you, stick with whatever works for your neurodivergent brain. And routines. Create predictable routines for mornings, evenings, and even weekends. This can help reduce decision fatigue and create a sense of stability both for you and your children. However, you also want to make sure that you have some flexibility built into these routines. Next, let's get into hacking overstimulation. We'll talk about sensory retreats. Designate a quiet corner in your home where you and your kids can escape from the chaos. Fill it with comfy pillows, weighted blankets, fidget toys, and calming lights. And if you hear that, it is still raining and now we've got hail. Oh boy. Invest in those noise-canceling headphones. These are a lifesaver for both parents and kids who are sensitive to noise. They can block out the world and create a peaceful bubble of tranquility, and I could really use some right now because, as you can tell, I'm getting pretty distracted by this thunderstorm outside. Finally, schedule quiet time. Build in daily quiet time for everyone in the family. This could involve reading, drawing, listening to music, or simply doing nothing. But let me tell you, it is so hard for me to just do nothing. Finally, we're going to talk about hacking communication breakdowns. Try visual aids like charts, diagrams, or even emojis to communicate complex ideas or emotions. Visuals can be incredibly helpful for both neurodivergent parents and children. Write it out. If verbal communication is a struggle, try writing notes, emails, or even text messages. This gives everyone time to process information and respond thoughtfully. Finally, try I statements. Instead of blaming or accusing, focus on your own feelings and needs. For example, I feel overwhelmed when the house is messy. Can we work together to tidy up? Experiment and adapt. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. What works for one neurodivergent family might not work for another. The key is to experiment, adapt, and find what works best for you and your unique crew. So don't be afraid to try new things, ditch what doesn't work, and embrace the chaos. After all, as the wise Yoda said, do or do not. There is no try. Now, before you start feeling guilty for not being a Pinterest perfect parent, let's reframe this whole hack thing. Because here's the truth. Needing hacks doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're resourceful, adaptable, and willing to think outside the box. In fact, I'd make the argument that neurodivergent parents are some of the most innovative and creative problem solvers out there. We're the MacGyvers of the parenting world, turning paper clips into toy swords and empty toilet paper rolls into rocket ships. We don't always follow the rulebook because we're so busy writing our own. We don't conform to societal expectations. We create our own unique path. And that, my friends, is something to be celebrated and not ashamed of. So next time you find yourself reaching for a life hack, don't think of it as a crutch. Think of it as a testament to your ingenuity, your resilience, and your unwavering commitment to being the best parent you can be. After all, as the wise Princess Leia might say, sometimes we have to do what feels right, not what's easy. And when it comes to parenting, finding creative solutions to everyday challenges is not just right, it's downright fucking genius. So to my fellow neurodivergent parents, I say this. Embrace the chaos, celebrate the quirks, and never underestimate the power of your differently wired brain. We might not always do things the conventional way, but we're forging our own path, one hack, one workaround, and one creative solution at a time. And remember, just like a well-worn map of Middle-earth or a trusty lightsaber, Our neurodivergent minds are tools that can help us navigate the unpredictable terrain of parenthood. So let's ditch the guilt, embrace the ingenuity, and raise a toast or juice box to the beautifully messy, wonderfully chaotic, and undeniably awesome world of neurodivergent parenting. So go forth, my fellow hobbits, elves, wizards, Hogwarts students, and may the hacks ever be in your favor. Are you loving this podcast? Your feedback means the world to me. If you're finding value in the episode, please take a moment to leave a review. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the Neurodivergent Mom Life podcast. Every week, we're diving into the realities of raising neurodivergent kids while embracing our own unique paths. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and join our community of unstoppable moms.